Interstellar is now playing back in Imax, and I did want to review every single Christopher Nolan movie ever. I'm kind of waiting until his next project gets closer to do it, but he does have a lot of films. Not a huge amount compared to other directors, but still there's a lot. And since this movie is doing really well in IMAX, got put back in IMAX, is going to be there for a week, and I did get a chance to finally go check that out today. I thought I'd just do a quick little review for Interstellar, which, out of all the Christopher Nolan movies I've seen, because I have not seen all of them. I have not seen Memento. Yes, I know I need to. Insomnia, Following, and a couple other ones. This is the one that I've never been a huge fan of. Mainly because of that ending. But I think seeing this film back in IMAX really does enhance this movie. Because the thing is about Christopher Nolan movies and why I'm not a big fan of Christopher Nolan movies is I feel like the best impact you will get with Christopher Nolan movies is in the theater. I think that's why his films do so well, box office wise, because his films are not only just great films, but they're great theatrical experiences that you won't get at home. Yeah, I've seen Oppenheimer about a couple times at home. Saw it once in the theater, but the best time I watched it was in the theater. And you could say that about most movies, but it really is different with Christopher Nolan movies, especially since his movies are mixed very well for a theatrical release, but then when the home media version is not mixed for a home theater setup, and that makes it very difficult with his films. But still, I do think that... So I would say if you ever get a chance to see a movie like Inception, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, these movies, playing in a theater, do it if you've never done it, seen them in the theater before, because it really is going to improve your viewing of those films so much. And it did with this movie. I think I actually grew to really like this movie a lot more. I really think the sci-fi concepts of this movie are really good. Matthew McConaughey gives maybe his best performance of his career here. And just the journey he goes on for his family and that connection and the way this film is set up. I feel like so much of the early bits of this film reminded me of Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, where you're really building this connection with this family and their personal journeys and struggles and what's going on with them. And then as the film goes on, you start to dive more into the sci-fi concepts. And that's what the first act of this movie really felt like to me. And that's what I really liked about it on first viewing of this film. And I think that's truly wonderful in this film. I think this film is very magical in the way it's shot. It's a gorgeous looking movie. It's beautifully shot. The cinematography I love. The score to this movie by Hans Zimmer is really good. Hans Zimmer's never been one of my favorite composers, but I feel like so many of his films that he does the music for are absolutely elevated for. My favorite composers, though, I think their music for the films usually works outside the movie, and Hans Zimmer, I don't tend to feel that way, but regardless, his score here is fantastic. And I just think the journey of this film is really good. I think even though the ending sucks, and it really does, I think the ending of this movie actually just hurts this movie so much. It is the worst part of this movie. You can tell Christopher Nolan loved 2001. I think he even admitted, because this is a side note about Christopher Nolan, is a lot of his films, he will take the cast and crew, say, here's a list of movies I want you to watch. These are my influences, basically, in a way. And then they go watch those movies, and then they make the movie. So, this movie, I think he showed them 2001, from what I understand. And showing them that film makes it very clear that's what the influence was here, and it's pretty easy to see that. And it makes for a movie that's trying to do the 2001 thing, But I'm sorry, every director that's ever tried to do the Kubrick thing, you just cannot beat Kubrick. Kubrick was a mastermind and a genius, not of this world. He really was. Um, and I wish there could be more directors like him, but the best directors that are like him are the ones that don't try to be like him. To me, Spielberg gets pretty close to a Kubrick a lot of the time because he doesn't try to be like Kubrick. The one time he did AI is probably one of his most flawed movies, right? Robert Eggers is a close to Kubrick to me. Things like that. There's a lot of great directors out there who, when they're not trying to be like Kubrick, end up being closer to Kubrick than Kubrick. Directors who try to be like Kubrick. It's a whole interesting cycle with that. But I think this film is great. I think, I do think this film, like I said, has its flaws, but really, at the end of the day, it has a lot to say about our world currently, our place in the universe, family, and it just makes for a really impactful movie. And if you have a chance to stay back in IMAX, please do so this week. It is a great film. Absolutely adore this one.